Welcome to Digital Natives, Content Creation's Frontline, where each week we explore with a digital native how to build community online in a multi-platform world. This week, I'm thrilled to have with me one of my old best friends and one of the pioneers in the digital realm, Mr. Matt Enlow. He is a creator of the award-winning Squaresville, and besides Matt, we also have in-house one of the stars of his show, Miss Kylie Sparks. But before I introduce them, let's take a look at the teaser trailer clip of Squaresville.
I heard you guys joined a cult. Is that true? Are you guys in a cult?
Oh, man.
I want to do something rebellious. I hope the world's ready for us.
Telling all your secrets.
Woo! That was fantastic. Let's give them a round of applause, right, live audience? That's right. Besides the show being live, we also have people in-house, and we're thrilled to have them here. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. Matt Enlow and Miss Kylie Sparks. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for having us, Brian.
You're welcome. So let's get started. Well, actually, before we get started, I just want to say congratulations on your not one, not two, but 3 IAW TV awards this year.
Thank you, and congratulations on this show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited about it, and I'm really excited to share with the world all of your genius, Matt, tonight, and also your genius as well, Kylie.
Oh, thank you.
So let's talk about the IWTV Awards. What was it like for you? I mean, so first off, why don't you share with people what the IWTV Awards are?
Yeah, sure. So the IAWTV is a group of kind of our peers, the International Academy of Web Television. It's web creators all over the world, and so once a year we kind of get together to honor each other, and we were honored enough to be awarded with Best Comedy.
Okay.
Best Ensemble.
Great.
And best writing
And
for our
best,
comedy.
oh, thank you.
Best writing.
So.
I didn't want to say it myself. Thank
Well,
you.
good.
Thank you, Kylie.
Well, that's really, really fantastic. Congratulations on
Yeah.
that. I know it was a big night for a lot of people who work in web television, and I was really thrilled to be there and watch you just kill it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's special. It's something online. It's always about views and this and that. It's it's easy to kind of take that into an abstract realm, of how many views is 10,000 views versus 1 million views or whatever, and people get caught up in that, likes and comments and all of that stuff. So it's special to kind of just be in a room with people who actually like your show and are acknowledging it like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially a room full of your peers.
Yeah, it humanizes it in a way that's special.
Well, let's get right to it. So what inspired you to tell the story of Squaresville?
Yeah, so I thought, well, I want to make a show that would speak to me if I were in high school. And I, especially growing up, things have changed a little bit now, but growing up, teen drama, teen comedy was very, very glossy and just unrelatable to me. The problems that teenagers were having were so heightened and bizarre and strange. It was like, Dawson's Creek and all of that stuff. Well, those are great shows, but they didn't really, I couldn't relate to those characters. So I thought, young people are consuming content online. Why not make a show for people like myself now?
Now, was there a particular reason why you decided to launch this in the digital realm rather than in a more traditional platform?
Yeah, I mean, the wonderful thing is you can, have creative freedom. Like no one, I don't think anyone would have said, hey, Matt Enlow, you're an unknown, but yeah, you can have your own TV show or you can have your own movie. Especially, the show it's a low concept idea. It's really 2 friends hanging out together, exploring what it's like to be young. And so I knew I just needed to make the show in order for people to really understand and connect with an audience. So I said, hey, Kylie, let's make a show together.
And I said, yeah, okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to go from the concept of the show to actually launching it? Well, because I think most people think they can just go get together with their friends, shoot a web series for 2 weekends, and then it's going to be a viral hit. Yeah. But I know you actually took quite a bit of time, right? Creating this.
It was a long road. I started writing probably 4 years ago now.
Wow.
Off and on weekends, that sort of thing, whenever I found time. And then I got really serious probably 3 years ago. Or I guess 3 years ago was, when we started first shooting.
Yeah.
And we went through a really heavy audition process. We auditioned a ton of people. And the original plan was just to put together enough time to do like a weekend worth of shooting, pulling favors, casting the core cast, and like put together presentation materials that I could either kickstart with or pitch with, basically. And that's when Kylie came into the picture, as well as the rest of our cast.
Got it. And I was going to say, and how important, because I talked to different people about this, how important was Kylie's knowledge of the digital realm in her casting?
So, when we first sat down, before I cast anyone, especially Kylie and Mary-Kate, her co-star, we had a good conversation explicitly about social media. So you were pretty active on Twitter beforehand. But
had you ever worked in a web series before?
No, this was the first time that I worked in a web series. My background is film and television, mostly television. I've been working for a long time now, since I was a kid. And I, one day, was checking Facebook because I'm all about tech and everything. And I got a message from Matt's wife, Chrissy, who I've known for a long time. We used to be in the same acting class. And she said, hey, there's an audition tomorrow. Matt is doing a web series. Would you like to come? I was like, I have nothing else to do. Might as well go.
What's a web series?
Yeah, what's a web series? But this sounds fun. And then I kept coming back, and I read with like 4 or 5 different Zeldas at the time.
Yeah, so many Zeldas,
yeah.
So what was this conversation in her casting around her relationship to Twitter?
So what happened is I kind of knew, especially in the very beginning, that I wasn't going to be able to pay people with cash money. But I am an expert in social media, and I know from experience that can be valuable to an actor's career. So one of the ways that I tried to incentivize the show for them was to say, like, this is an opportunity. I want to help you. I want to help grow your career. Let's talk about this. Let's get serious about it, because it's going to help the show, and it's also going to help Kylie and Mary-Kate in significant ways. Yeah.
And has it helped you so far?
It has, actually, especially the fact we were in Entertainment Weekly earlier this year, and it was one of those things that I was able to throw in the old press kit and throw everything, because I have great footage from Squaresville, and I have a Twitter following because of Squaresville. If I didn't have Squaresville, I probably would not have as big of a social media following as I do. So.
Well, and you've also got a handful of other web series going right now,
Yeah,
right?
I do. So I'm kind of teetering between the digital world and the traditional world right now. So, yeah.
We'll get to that a little bit later on. So speaking of social media, how was it woven into the overall narrative of the show?
Well, when you're doing a web series, the last thing you want to do is make a short, low-budget TV show that only functions as like kind of a lesser version of what you could normally find on television. So the two things that I feel like you always have to do as a web series creator is make sure that it's something fresh and new that you can't get on TV, but then also make sure that it's digitally native to the web.
Exactly.
So we made sure that the cast was tweeting actively, we were Instagramming from the set, and that we created kind of a separate show almost that was specifically designed to interact with the fan base.
So it's kind of like a show about the show.
Yeah. Or really, we call it our community show. So, we have our scripted kind of more TV style episodes, but then every other, or like once a month, we would do these episodes where we would answer fan questions or like take a peek behind the scenes in some way, or all sorts of crazy stuff. We had,
Very interactive.
Yeah.
I know. I know how interactive you are. Speaking of interactivity, let's cut to the live chat where we have Clarissa on the live chat. Any questions from the live chat, Clarissa?
Well, Brian, the Squaresville tweeters are out in full force this evening. I've got a great question from a hardcore fan, iDarkAngel. What's Matt's creative process while writing the scripts? And how much time in advance does he actually write?
Yeah, it's a great question. Because we're a TV style show, we block shoot everything. So we shot season 2 in 9 days.
Yeah.
Season 1
About
the
same.
same. I think we maybe got an extra day or 2 in season 2. That's the luxury of the second season. But so I had to shoot, because we were shooting everything together, I wrote everything together. It's basically, a small feature film worth of footage. So, I was spending every waking hour trying to make it happen. And it was kind of a long time coming. I feel like I would send you guys drafts every once in a while or
And
ask
we
you
would have
questions.
table reads too. Like we would do kind of workshop reads with everyone involved, both cast and crew, and just kind of saw what worked, what didn't work,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you would always keep us updated with pages.
Yeah. It's something where it's like, when you're doing comedy, you need to know what's hitting, what's not hitting. I feel like in the last table read that we did, it was special to kind of see like, we're light on this character, or we need to kind of shape things a little bit. So especially because it's block shooting, you kind of only get one chance. We don't do very many pickups. Like, we did one pickup scene for season 2, but otherwise, you don't really, and I had to rewrite the scene to be something completely different because I couldn't go back to those locations and blah, blah, blah logistics.
Okay. So on average, how often would you say you spend on each script?
Oh gosh, that's hard. Sometimes the special thing about writing a web series is that you can sit down in one sitting, like one afternoon, and start to finish write an entire episode. How many revisions that takes depends on, how it fits into the story and, whether or not it's clicking or not. I think like the Sarah Wars episode from this last season, I think maybe had 2 drafts total, and I wrote in one sitting. But it had been sitting in the back of my head and was relatively self-contained. The less that they have to intertwine with the rest of the story and cast and this and that, the harder it becomes,
Got it. So a lot of creators today are getting their start in the entertainment world, in the digital realm. And I'm very curious as to what this has looked like for you. I mean, do you have any advice to people who want to, jump into the entertainment world and getting their foot in the door in the digital space?
Yeah, I mean, it's special because before it used to be that, we would have to do short films and for people, for actors, it was you could either do short films or you could do features, and it was kind of like you just had to get broken in, and it was there weren't as many alternatives. So yeah, I think it's created a whole new avenue. I think it is interesting because it's so public and it's so searchable that, you're failing in public and you're succeeding in public, So there's that warning as well.
Well, has this helped you in traditional Hollywood, in the traditional entertainment industry in any way? And do you care? Most importantly.
Sure. Well, no one my age at least grew up dreaming of web series as their future because they didn't exist yet. So I think it's fun that we're pioneering that for sure. But I certainly don't discriminate. If someone wants to hire me to do a feature, at Mr. Matt Enlow, tweet me, guys.
That's right. Well, and you actually did go to USC Film School, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you do come from a film world, obviously. Yeah. Now, speaking of the word web series, right? We've been calling it a web series. What do you think of that word web series? I mean, do you like it? Or do you refer to it as a digital series, web series? What are your thoughts on that?
It's fine. We don't need to quibble. I feel like I think we should all just say, okay, web series, that's what it is, digital series, whatever we want to call it. Let's just,
got it. And how is a web series distinctly different from, say, a traditional television show?
Well, I think it's a two-way street is the big difference right now. It's I know that we're going to have comments under our videos. Kylie knows that people are going to be tweeting to her.
Yeah.
And that there's an expectation there, really, from the audience that they're going to be more involved with the way that a show works.
Excellent. Speaking of Twitter, we're going to go right to Clarissa again. Clarissa, any new questions from the Twitterverse?
Brian, Squaresville fans are still tweeting up a storm over here. I've got a to-the-point question from the Ed Creature. Season 3?
Speaking of season 3, there you go. What is next for the show?
Ed, thanks for asking. We're still up in the air a little bit. I think that, season 2 just ended last Friday.
Yep.
Nearly killed me. There's a couple all-nighters there. So we're kind of taking a little breather, but there are a ton of interesting opportunities out there. And, the success of season 1 and season 2 has opened new doors for us. So I can't commit to anything for sure, but, it's a bright future for Squaresville, we can say.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's exactly what I think many people out there wanted to know. So, to today, what is your total subscription and overall views for the show?
Overall views, gosh, I think we're at like 1.7
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
million, somewhere in that range, and 31,000 subscribers, I think.
That's pretty amazing. Well, congratulations. Well, there you have it. That is how you can create a successful show in the digital world. Welcome to Geek Week here on Digital Native, where we take a little closer look at building community, finding superfans in the digital realm. This week, I am joined by none other than Matt Enlow, the creator of Squaresville, and one of the stars of his show, Miss Kylie Sparks. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Kylie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, first off, I just have to say, I think you were so prolific in your use of social media in building community and finding fans online. So you really should be acknowledged for that.
Thank you.
How did you become such an expert at this, Matt?
Well, I think we kind of all just dug in. I think we became interested in Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook because that was where the fan base lives. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, we were continually being interacted with on those forums. So you kind of just had to learn by doing, I was not a Tumblr native, I think, when the show started, but it was like,
we all kind of have now.
Yeah. You're on Tumblr every day now.
Every day. I love Tumblr.
Yeah.
Got that.
Yeah.
So what is one piece of advice you would give to, say, a more traditional entertainment person, actor, writer, director, somebody who's creating content for the first time, coming to the digital realm, about creating something in the digital space?
Sure. I think you need to think about where your audience lives. So I think everyone has a decent understanding of how demographics work and who the audience or the potential audience for your show is. Mm-hmm. Each social network is a different ecosystem. And so I encourage people who are doing a show like Squaresville to do something on Tumblr, do stuff on Instagram, but that's where our fans live. Where might, a different demo live? Maybe on Pinterest, maybe, on a social network I haven't even heard of, like if I was doing a show for billionaires, there's probably some secret social network that they haven't told us about.
Exactly, so, got that.
Yeah.
And any comments from you, Kylie, about jumping into Tumblr? What was it like for you?
I was a little resistant because at the time, I had Tumblr, and then I deleted it because I didn't really find it all that interesting.
Too much drama.
Too much drama on Tumblr. And then Matt was just like, okay, you really need to get Tumblr because that is where our fans live. Twitter's great, having Facebook's great, but you really need to have Tumblr. So it took me a while, but then the moment there was like a split moment where I got hooked on it, and I was like, all right, I love Tumblr. It's so great.
When was that moment? I'm curious.
I think one of the first gift sets, actually, of Squaresville when it came out, I was like, oh, people make stuff that you watch, and I was blown away by that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of like this Tumblr thing. So it was a little selfish, I'm not gonna lie, but it was fun.
Well, and Tumblr obviously has gotten hugely successful since you launched your show. I mean, they were just bought by
Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yahoo bought them for like $1 billion.
$1 billion.
So Tumblr, I don't think, is going away anytime soon,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's specifically look at some of the tactics that you're using to promote your show. Like for instance, let's look at your thumbnails, which for those of you who don't know, if you're working in the digital realm and people are looking at online video specifically or a digital video, this is such a key important part that I think people leave out, that they don't think about actually, really spending time in creating a beautiful thumbnail. So we obviously have 4 images here that are playing. That were pre-selected, and I really like. So this one is really fun, right? You did a whole episode that had a whole sci-fi bent to it, right? And you actually it incorporated a lot of other spoofs on different different shows, which is great. And then I think another couple of the episodes you had here. So this is my favorite one here, episode 32. I really like this profile pic where the two of you, Esther and Zelda are like in a square off there. So tell us, could you tell me why you picked that thumbnail? Or
Yeah, well, I mean, a thumbnail, if you think of it as your movie poster, right, which it's the first introduction that an audience is going to have to an episode. That's
I just want to say it's brilliant. I've never even heard that before, but I think that's exactly what it is. It is a movie poster.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's there's a lot of information that needs to be conveyed. Who are the characters that I love? Are they going to be in this episode? Maybe they're not. What episode is this? If I'm just browsing and I know I'm watching episode 16, do I want to click on episode 32? Probably not. Probably going to miss some stuff in between, you know? And then just a good catchy title is helpful as well, and making sure that it's an interesting, engaging sort of image, I think is important as well. So I know people will take special photos for their thumbnails. We we'll do more of a screen grab sort of move, but Karen Cavett is a great resource. She did an excellent tutorial on how to make a great thumbnail that everyone should check out. Karen Cavett thumbnail tutorial.
Where can we follow her on Twitter?
Oh, I think just at
Karen Cavett.
At Karen Cavett.
And also she designed the template for our thumbnails. So
and our poster as well.
And our poster.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Good.
Well, never time wasted picking a good thumbnail, yes?
No, absolutely.
For your content,
yeah.
got that. Excellent. Moving on, Matt, and this is, I think you're such a great community builder. We picked some great images of your fan art, right? So you have these diehard fans who, just give us amazing stuff from all around the world. We picked some great images here that I think are just really beautiful. Let's talk about these. So I picked this one specifically because I grew up with Calvin and Hobbes, and this is an homage to Calvin and Hobbes, right? This is such a great image. You've got, it's total Calvin and Hobbes here. So, what do you think of this image? And tell me about the contest that you had when you had this going.
Yeah, I've always loved fan art. I think it's a really fascinating way for fans to interact with a community. And that image in particular was very special to me because I always thought of Calvin and Hobbes as an inspiration for the show. The relationship is really important. That sense of whimsy. It was like one of the #1 things. And also, a comic strip is not too dissimilar from a web series from a storytelling perspective because they have to be very economical. They have to be very concise, and they're kind of a single-serving moment. So Calvin and Hobbes, that a fan picked up on that influence and then decided to go ahead and use their skill and talent to make such an awesome image was very special.
Got it. Let's pull up the second image here. We've got, this looks really cool and hip. It's like a slick, this is I think an homage to one of your first episodes, right? You're here looking at what is their Esther and Zelda are in the parking lot, right? And you're playing around, and it's a total teen. I think I even played with the shopping cart. Or maybe more than once, actually, on occasion, in a parking lot myself, wheeling around. So, I think it's such a great image. Was there a particular contest that you had to create all these, or?
Well, what we would do is we would kind of regularly encourage people to interact in specific ways. So we talked before about the Q&A. And we said, okay, well, let's go ahead and use those in the intro of each episode. But I think the other thing that's interesting is that, like that image that you just showed, I remember just being so excited to share that with you guys.
Yeah.
And you went crazy for it.
Oh Oh yeah, because that was one of the first times that there was fan art of me, and it was by this guy. It was by George Kambodias, who is from Greece.
From Greece.
That was the best thing, because I was like, oh, someone actually outside of the U.S. is watching this and loves the show enough to draw something.
And that really gets you present to how big the show is,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like you
Oh,
really get
yeah.
to start to see, like, oh, this is. I'm really creating art that affects everybody. It's not just living in the United States, it's living elsewhere.
And I would say that beyond any sort of prizing that I could give, I think the thing that George was most excited about was seeing the cast excited about his work.
Yeah.
You know, then it's a fully reciprocal relationship.
It kind of completes the circle of life.
And ultimately, this is funny, you probably don't know this, I needed, for the cosplay episode where we did all of those spoofs, I needed a custom background for our Adventure Time episode. So that artist I ended up reaching out to, he did our Adventure Time background. So he ended up actually helping make the show.
We're gonna look at the last image here. We're gonna pull it up to the screen right now. I think this is really great fun. And this looks like I Dream of Jeannie or something, right? Like
It's Harry Potter.
Oh, is it Harry Potter?
It's Harry Potter.
Oh, thank you. I didn't look close enough at it. But I think it has an I Dream of Jeannie thing or something. Oh, because she has a scarf. It's fabulous. Okay, great. Well, obviously, I love scarves, clearly. So next here we have gifts. I think you're a master of the gifts. I think the gifts are really important. So let's look at two of the gifts that we have here. Which I think, and let's talk about the gifs and why they're important in creating digital content. It's somewhere between a flat image and an actual moving image, like an actual movie. So what is the difference between, like, why is a GIF important?
Well, I think that, again, Tumblr, that's kind of like the language of...
It's kind of the currency of Tumblr.
The currency
Yeah.
of
Okay,
Tumblr.
got that.
So,
Excellent.
So in the very beginning, we started making our own, but quickly...
Is it hard to make a GIF?
You know, it's not super hard. You know, you have to have a Photoshop. There are tips and tricks. Our fan base is better at making them than I am,
Yeah.
Okay,
for
got
sure.
it.
So it was nice when they started
Doing them
picking up
for
that
you.
torch.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Build those super fans, exactly. And the last final image here, we have the call to action post roll call to action. I think, you know, Matt, you're so great here at, especially this image in particular, you know, each time the actors come out and come break the fourth wall, and you're actually, you know, calling, please subscribe, right?
Yeah.
There was a whole movie that just came out recently called Please
Yes.
Subscribe, right? So I'm going to ask you a particular question about this,
Yeah.
Kylie, but how did you know? I guess I'll ask you first, actually.
Okay.
What was it like for you to actually break the fourth wall as an actor, to know that after you shot the episode, you have to come out and actually sort of like, almost like with a can in hand? To me, it always seems like, you know, you're out there on the street
Like,
peddling,
please do
please sir, give us some money. But that's really what you're doing, but in a digital way.
Yeah, and I think that was that was one of the things that was very different for me, coming from the traditional Hollywood background, where, you know, there's that fourth wall and everything, and then you get into an instantaneous, porous environment like the digital world, and you have to, you know, have that call to action. But I think it also got us interacting with our fans more, because you got to see us as who we are, saying, we love this show, we love that you love it, please tell your friends about it, so that way we can make more episodes. So for me, it was very interactive and trying to get into our fan base.
Got it. Well, thank you guys so much for all that wonderful insight and all those geek tweaks on how to build and create a successful web series or digital series in the multi-platform world. Up next, digital profiles. Welcome to Digital Natives Digital Profiles. I'm your host, Brian Rada, and this week I'm thrilled to be here with Matt Enlow and Kylie Sparks, who are both the creator and star of the hit digital series or web series, Squaresville. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Kylie.
Thank you, Brian.
So on this show, we really want to talk about, in this segment, really, what is your personal connection to social media? I know how both of you are using social media for Squaresville, but I really want to get a little more in depth in what's your personal relationship to it. Because I think it's very different when you're using social media to promote your show versus how you're actually using it for yourself, right?
Yes.
So, you know, how do you engage on social media, Matt?
Oh, how do I engage in social media? I'm a big Instagram fan.
Okay.
I use Facebook I use every social media platform pretty regularly. Like, I feel like saying like, oh, I dabble mean I'm a pretty heavy user, I guess, ultimately. So I'm on Tumblr every day. I'm on Facebook every day, Twitter and Instagram.
So you're dabbling in all 4 of them throughout the day?
Yeah, really regularly.
Okay.
I think when you don't have, it becomes a digital water cooler. This is where I'm having my conversations with my friends. I'm keeping track of people. And so, it's something where I want to make sure that I'm involved with what's going on in my world.
Got it.
Yeah.
Kylie?
I mostly live on Twitter and Tumblr. I do use Instagram and Facebook a lot. I mostly live on Twitter and Tumblr, and I just find that they're more interactive with people. And fun fact, my mother actually made me get Twitter 5 years ago. So before Twitter started booming, Patty Sparks was all about the Twitter, and she has more Twitter followers than me, which is
serious.
so
Love us
funny.
some Patty Sparks.
Oh,
She's
Patty
on-
Sparks.
Thank you, Patty Sparks.
that's right.
We're going to have you on the show next time. You can be our next guest for Digital Native of the Week. Excellent. So, and here's a really fun question. What was the first social media platform that you joined?
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it must have been MySpace. I skipped Friendster.
Okay.
So MySpace was the first.
MySpace, was it for you?
But I joined MySpace and then Facebook hit. And then Facebook got less cool, and then people got back into MySpace, and then now, obviously, back into
great.
Facebook again.
Yeah. Probably
For you,
MySpace, but do you guys remember Zanga? Like back in the day, like the little journal, like sort of things. I had one of those when I was 13.
You had one of those too?
It's been deleted since.
Nice.
But
Bummer.
yeah.
I
So
love
nobody
it.
go back there. But yeah, no, mostly MySpace was my first.
So,
one.
if you were stranded on a desert island and you could only take one social media platform with you, which social media platform would it be and why?
I mean, Instagram, right? Like, think of all the sunsets, right?
Instagram?
Me with
Okay.
the coconut.
Instagram.
Me with my invisible best friend.
Kylie?
Twitter, so I could get off the island.
Practical.
Just be like SOS on island. Please send help,
I
and
would
then
make SOS with the rocks and then take it.
and then Instagram.
Yes.
What is your, one final question before we go into some rapid fire questions. What is your favorite digital series other than the one that you guys are either on or that you created, other than Squaresville?
So my favorites, I love House of Cosby's, which was an old Channel 101 show about a guy who builds a cloning machine that generates fake Bill Cosby's.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's a little hard to find because Bill Cosby got really upset about it and sent the website that hosts it a cease and desist. But I think you can find it online now.
Okay.
But it's amazing.
Okay. Kylie?
There are two. One is Happy Endings, which was on ABC. They did a digital content called Happy Rides, and they were just little vignettes with the characters. And then the other one that I just remembered, it's called It Could Be Worse, and it's by Wesley Taylor, who he was on Smash on NBC and has done Broadway and everything. And if you're a musical theater nerd like I am, it's so funny because you see cameos from, like, even Deborah Messing was on it, Will Chase, just a bunch of people from Broadway, and I love that show. It's really funny.
Okay, fabulous.
You know, another show I should bring up that's still going,
Please do.
High Maintenance, is maybe the best web series I've ever seen.
High maintenance.
Yeah, it's about a pot dealer in New York, and each episode is a different vignette where he goes to a different customer. It's bittersweet. It's brilliantly shot. It is the best web series.
Okay. High maintenance. Well, all of our friends who enjoy smoking cannabis, I'm sure will love watching that show.
It's not like a stoner show. It's
Okay, got it.
It's very
Great,
arty.
wonderful.
It's an arty stoner show.
All right. Kylie, now comes the point where I'm going to ask you a series of rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Excellent. Cat videos or baby videos?
Cat videos.
Twitter or Facebook?
Twitter.
Instagram or Pinterest?
Instagram.
Tumblr or WordPress?
Tumblr.
What is your favorite hashtag?
Hashtag when you double it.
Okay, what is your least favorite hashtag?
Hashtag YOLO.
Okay. And what is your worst social media pet peeve?
just being on Facebook in general. I hate Facebook. Sorry.
Okay. And your favorite viral video of all time?
The puppy whistle. It's a little puppy that just goes woo woo like every 5 seconds. It's the best.
That's good.
Okay. And what is the one thing that people wouldn't know about you just by Googling you?
I once had a collection of rocks when I was a child. So that's it. I'm boring, people. I'm really boring.
Great. Rapid fire questions for Mr. Matt Enlow. Cat videos or baby videos?
I'm gonna go baby videos.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Like
Twitter
a good
or-
giggling baby, so good.
Twitter or Facebook?
Twitter.
Instagram or Pinterest?
Instagram, obviously.
Obviously. Tumblr or WordPress?
Tumblr.
What is your favorite hashtag?
My favorite hashtag is not really a hashtag. It's similar to Kylie's. I like just writing the word hash and tag without the actual symbol. I think that's really funny, actually. Or hashtag farts. I think that's funny too.
Okay, great. What is your least favorite hashtag?
I'm not fond of no filter on Instagram. That one's annoying to me. That's just a photo.
Got it. What is the worst social media pet peeve of all time? Your worst.
My pet peeve, I don't like it when you'll have an automated tweet go to all of your different platforms. You know, so you end up seeing the same tweet like 6 times because it went to Facebook and then to, you know.
And your favorite viral video of all time?
It's a video called Weird. It's like a fake biopic of the Weird Al story on Funny or Die. It's amazing. And Aaron Paul plays Weird Al. It's great.
Okay, excellent. And what is one thing that people would not know about you just by Googling you?
I became a vegetarian because of that episode of The Simpsons where Lisa becomes a vegetarian. That's not Googleable.
Okay, excellent.
Still going.
No, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Digital Natives Content Creation's Frontline, where we constantly explore how to build, write, and produce and sustain communities in the multi-platform world that we currently live in. I'm Brian Rada, your host. You can follow me on Twitter at Brian Rada or at Rada Consulting. You can follow the show at DigNative Series. And you can follow all the guests we've had on the show today at Mr. Matt Enlow, at Kylie Sparks, our chat room correspondent, Clarissa Dolphin at Clarissa Dolphin. And we'll see you soon in the digital world near you.